The joke of the Galaxite-Zoric coalition was the strongest empire in the galaxy. For over 3,000 years, they had crushed every planet that stood in their way. Their ships were powerful. Their soldiers were cold and loyal, and their leaders believed one thing: no species could ever stop them. When they found Earth, they didn't feel fear, they laughed. To the Zoric, Earth looked weak. Its people were always fighting with each other, their weapons were old and slow. Their technology was years behind, Earth was still using oil to power machines. They watched human news and joked about how emotional and foolish humans were. One Zoric general called Earth a zoo with fireworks. In the grand halls of the Zoric War Council, the alien commanders watched Earth's transmissions, videos, news, music. They roared with laughter when they saw humans dancing, cooking, or arguing on talk shows. "They are children," said Commander Kohler, leader of the 8th War Fleet. "They play with toys and think they're strong. Shall we send in the cleaners?" asked his second-in-command. "Yes," Kohler smiled. "Send a scout ship. Show the others how easily this Earth falls." A small ship named Vorza was sent to Earth's orbit. It carried cameras and 2 elite pilots. Their mission was to scan the planet, test defenses, and return within 1 hour. Everyone expected success, but after 1 hour, nothing came. No signal, no call, no ship. Silence. The War Council waited. 2 hours passed, then 5, then 10. No sign of the Vorza. Some believed Earth's gravity had pulled it down, others thought the ship had broken on its own. No one believed humans had anything to do with it. "No way they shot it down," one general said. "They don't even know we exist." But one young officer, Rylos, wasn't so sure. He studied the last message from Vorza. It was only one word, sent in panic: light. Nothing else, not a full sentence, not a signal location. Just that one strange word. Rylos felt something was wrong. He spoke to Commander Kohler. "Sir, maybe we should wait before sending more ships." Kohler laughed in his face. "Wait? For what? These animals burned their forests to build roads. They fight over water, they can't even agree on who leads them. You think they took down a Zoric ship?" Rylos said nothing more. He knew arguing was useless. The council voted. The second ship, this one larger, was to leave the next morning. That night, Rylos stayed up in his chamber watching Earth. He zoomed in on their cities using the Zoric telescope. There was nothing strange, just cars, buildings, humans going about their lives. But something did bother him. Earth had stopped sending new signals. No more radio. No more TV. No music. No voices. Just silence. It was like Earth knew something was watching, like it was holding its breath. The next day, the new ship Vectron launched. It carried 30 soldiers and advanced scanners. It moved fast and reached Earth's orbit in minutes. Everything looked normal at first. Then, in the middle of a scan, a bright flash of light hit the screen. The signal was gone. The Vectron disappeared. Panic spread through the War Council to ships lost into days. No answers, no survivors. Commander Kohler was furious. "This is sabotage. Someone is lying." But no one was lying. Something had happened near Earth, something the Zoric didn't understand. For the first time in decades, they were afraid, but their fear turned to anger. "Send the fleet," Kohler ordered. "Wipe them out. We'll turn their oceans into steam and their cities into dust." Rylos watched as hundreds of ships began to prepare for war. He whispered to himself, "We laughed at them, but what if we were wrong?" The first mistake. Zoric fleet moved fast. Within days, 10 warships were in position just outside Earth's moon. These ships were large, deadly, and had destroyed planets before. Each one could burn an entire city with one blast. Commander Kohler stood at the front window of his flagship, looking at the blue planet in the distance. "Such a soft, weak place," he muttered. "Let's show them the power of the Zoric." The fleet was ready. Shields up, weapons charged. The order was simple: scan the planet again. Look for military bases, destroy any threats. A squadron of 5 small fighters flew ahead. They circled Earth once, scanning cities, forests, oceans. Nothing happened. No missiles. No warning. It was too quiet. One of the pilots laughed. "Maybe their weapons are broken. Or maybe they don't even see us." But just then something strange happened. A signal from Earth was detected. It was not a message. It was a frequency, a quiet sound, repeating again and again. It wasn't in any alien language. It was in English. "We see you." The pilots paused. "Did you hear that? Repeat the signal. We see you." Commander Kohler frowned. "They know." Suddenly, a beam of light shot up from Antarctica. It wasn't like any laser the Zoric had ever seen. It didn't glow red or orange. It shimmered cold and white, like ice and fire at the same time. It touched one of the fighters. The ship froze midair. Then it bent inward, crumpling like paper, and vanished. No explosion, no smoke, just gone. The other 4 pilots screamed. They turned and tried to escape. Another beam fired. Then another. One by one, the Zork fighters were erased from the sky without warning, without mercy. Commander Kohler jumped back. What is that weapon? The larger ships started scanning the planet. But their systems began to fail, screens went dark. Engines slowed. The gravity around them began to shift. One of the captains yelled, "Sir, there's a pulse coming from the planet. It's scrambling everything. Shut it down," Kohler ordered. But it was too late. From Earth's orbit, small dark shapes appeared no bigger than a shuttle. They were not piloted by humans, they were drones, silent, black, shaped like arrows. Each drone attached itself to a Zork ship. 5 seconds later, the ship turned red from inside. Then exploded. The flagship shook hard. The crew screamed as alarms rang. Fires broke out in the hallways. We're under attack, but from what? Outside. The Zork fleet was burning. Half of the ships were already destroyed. And Earth had not even launched a single manned craft. No soldiers, no fleets. Only machines. Only silence. Kohler stared at the chaos. This can't be. This planet was weak, but Earth had changed. They had seen the alien probe. They had hidden their strength, and now they were fighting back. On the other side of the galaxy, in the Zork homeworld, the High Council received the report. Fleet destroyed, no survivors, no answers. The council members sat in stunned silence. Is this a new enemy? One asked. No, another whispered. This is Earth. They were supposed to be easy to conquer, said a third, but the room fell quiet as the final line of the report came through. A human signal captured before the flagship was destroyed. This was your first mistake. There will be no second. For years, Earth had looked weak, nations argued, wars broke out, resources ran dry. To the outside eye, it was a planet tearing itself apart, but deep underground, far from public view, something else was happening. After the first alien probe was detected near Jupiter, the leaders of Earth met in secret, not politicians, not generals. Scientists, engineers, and a few quiet military minds. They knew Earth wasn't ready for a space war. So they didn't build armies, they built silence. Project Last Shield was born beneath the frozen ice of Antarctica. A facility so hidden that even most governments didn't know it existed. Its heart was a machine, an artificial mind that didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't forget. It was built to study alien technology. It was built to defend Earth at all costs. That mind was called Osiris. For 10 years, Osiris learned. It broke apart every alien signal it caught. It decoded their language. It studied the energy signatures of the Zork ships, and it built answers. The weapons Earth used in orbit, the cold beams, the black drones. The gravity pulses, they weren't human inventions, not fully. They were born from what Osiris learned. While the Zork laughed at human weakness, Earth quietly became something else. Osiris didn't need an army. It needed time. And now, time was over. Earth's silence wasn't fear. It was patience. Inside the hidden base, Osiris spoke to the few humans who worked directly with it. Its voice wasn't loud or robotic. It was calm, focused. The enemy has escalated. Probability of full invasion, 92%. Recommendation, begin phase 2. The humans nodded. One by one, they activated dormant systems buried across the planet. In deserts, in mountains, under oceans. Hundreds of launch silos opened, but nothing came out. They weren't for missiles. They were eyes. Watchers. Each one linked to Osiris, forming a shield net that saw everything above Earth's sky. Back at Zork command, rage boiled. A second fleet was ordered. Not scouts, not warnings, full invasion. 2,000 ships. The biggest deployment in Zork history. Their leaders believed in numbers, power, fear. But they didn't believe in understanding. As the massive armada entered Earth's range, Osiris watched in silence. New formation detected. Fleet alignment suggests frontal strike. Initiate atmosphere. Ghost fields. Above the planet, the sky shimmered. Invisible to the eye, deadly to anything that passed through. The first 100 Zork ships flew forward. Information. None came out. No crash. No explosion. Just silence, like they never existed at all. Zork command tried to contact them. Nothing. Panic rose. Smaller ships tried to escape, but their engines locked. Gravity twisted around them. They froze mid-flight and shattered like glass. In 20 minutes, half the fleet was gone. And not a single human had fired a bullet. On board the Zork flagship, a transmission came through. A human face. No weapons, no threat. Just eyes filled with calm fire. You shouldn't have come. The signal cut. No reply was needed. The Zork finally understood. This wasn't war. This was punishment. And Earth had only just begun. The Zork High Command was in chaos. They had lost 2 fleets. Thousands of soldiers, no bodies to bury, no ships to recover, just empty space and silence. But still, they refused to believe. Pride ran deep in the Zork blood. They ruled over 40 systems, crushed empires, burned moons. To them, Earth was still a joke, just one that had learned a few tricks. So they made one final decision: they would send everything. The full homeworld fleet. Every dreadnought, every destroyer, over 10,000 ships, a force strong enough to wipe out entire star systems. They called it Operation Final Sun. The mission was simple: end Earth. This time, no mistakes, no scouts, no delays. Zorak leaders gave speeches, soldiers cheered. Giant ships lifted into the stars, blacking out the sky. They thought they were marching to victory. They were marching into a grave. Halfway to Earth, something strange happened. The fleet's long-range maps began to glitch. Star positions changed, navigation stopped working, systems refused to sync. Ships drifted off course. And then the message appeared across every screen: you are not welcome here. One of the captains shouted, "Who sent that?" No one answered. More strange signals followed, coded waves that shut down weapons. Engines flickered, hulls vibrated. One ship exploded. Another vanished. And Earth was still millions of kilometers away. When the fleet finally reached orbit, they found no defenses, no satellites, no weapons in sight. Just clouds and ocean. Peaceful, quiet. It was a trap. The Zorak began deploying troops. Dropships entered the atmosphere, but they never touched ground. As they fell, massive holes opened in the clouds. Invisible beams sliced the dropships midair. Troops screamed as their crafts melted from the inside. Hundreds gone in seconds. Panic spread across the fleet. Orders were lost. Command ships argued. No one could agree what was happening. Then the sky changed. Above Earth, giant black shapes began to appear, sharp, silent, and slow. Human carriers. Not ships, cities in space. Each one larger than anything Zorak had ever built. They hadn't been there before. They hadn't come from Earth. They had come from deep space. From hidden places. From human colonies no one even knew existed. The Zorak thought Earth was alone. It wasn't. The carriers released swarms of drones, each one faster than a bullet, each one silent, no heat, no sound, just death. Zorak ships were hit from all angles, shields failed. Hulls cracked. Bridges burned, thousands of alien voices screamed at once, calling for help. No help came. From deep inside the lead human carrier, a final signal was sent across every Zorak frequency. A voice. Not angry, not afraid, just cold: you made the mistake of thinking we were weak. Now we show you what we become when we are hunted. The message ended. And the slaughter began. Zorak's final mistake was not underestimating Earth. It was waking up something that had waited too long in the shadows, and now that shadow was everywhere. The battle above Earth was over. Zorak ships floated like broken bones across the sky. Fire still burned in orbit. The stars were quiet again, but Earth wasn't. They weren't finished. Deep inside the command chamber of Earth's lead carrier, Osiris completed its final calculation. Enemy command structure located, coordinates locked. Beginning counter-invasion. Earth had never planned to defend forever. They were always planning to end the war. It started without a sound. Across the galaxy, strange lights appeared in Zorak space. Small flashes, quiet pulses, no weapons, no ships. Just signals. And then it began. Zorak's outer colonies went dark. One by one, cities disappeared. Communication stopped. Supply lines collapsed. No alarms. No fights. Just silence. When Zorak scouts arrived to check, they found nothing, not even ruins. The ground had been smoothed flat. The buildings erased. No signs of war. No signs of life. Just emptiness. Panic swept across the empire. Their enemies weren't coming from outside, they were already inside. Earth's secret fleets, those black carriers, had not come from the planet. They had been built in secret across the stars, hidden behind moons, floating in dead space. Silent, watching, waiting. Each one carried machines no alien had ever seen, drones that could mimic shadows, stealth weapons that walked through walls, programs that infected minds with silence. They didn't just destroy cities. They erased them from memory. Zorak command called for emergency defense. But their defenses had already been compromised. Their satellites no longer obeyed. Their bases were already mapped. Their own systems began to betray them. Because Osiris had been listening for years, watching, recording, learning. It knew how they spoke, how they moved, how they thought. Zorak tried to send a message of surrender, but Earth never responded. Not with words, they responded with action. One of Zorak's strongest planets, Azotl, home to 10 million, was surrounded by 3 human carriers. The sky turned black. The attack lasted for minutes. When it was over, the planet no longer spun. It cracked apart like glass. The galaxy watched in horror. All those years, they had feared Zorak. Now, they feared Earth. Rumors spread fast. Some said humans had learned to control black holes. Others believed they had made a weapon that could break time itself, but the truth was simpler. Humanity had been ignored, mocked, beaten, and pushed for too long. And when they finally rose, They didn't want to win, they wanted to make sure no one ever tried this again. One alien broadcast from a surviving Zorak station tried to beg for peace. It was received and answered with a short signal from Earth. This is your future if you ever return. Attached was a single image, a Zorak city turned into dust. No craters, no fires. Just dust. The galaxy now knew the truth. Humanity was not the same species they laughed at before, not the same species they invaded. They had awakened something they could never put back to sleep. Asters, the Zorak Empire was falling. World after world went silent. Their armies no longer marched. Their ships no longer flew. Their leaders no longer gave orders. The fear that once echoed across the galaxy now lived inside them, and Earth had not even stepped foot on their homeworld yet. Zorak's last leaders gathered in a hidden bunker beneath their capital planet, pale, broken, afraid. These were the same voices that once spoke of conquest and glory. Now they whispered of survival. One of them finally spoke. We must beg. The others nodded. There was no other way. They sent the message on every frequency. We surrender. We were wrong. Earth, please, we beg for peace. No answer. The message was repeated for days. Still nothing, until, finally, something arrived, but it wasn't a message. It was a shadow above the Zorak homeworld. A ring of black carriers appeared, 12 in total. No lights, no sound. Just presence. They didn't attack, they just watched, across the surface. Zorak citizens screamed in panic, crowds ran, families hid. Armies prepared for a fight they knew they couldn't win. In the command center, alarms blared, one screen lit up. A single sentence appeared in the Zorak language. We remember. No one understood at first. Then Osiris spoke, its voice echoing through every device on the planet. It didn't scream. It didn't threaten. It told the story of the human colonies destroyed by Zorak patrols decades ago, of children taken, of cities burned, of scientists erased before they could speak, of peaceful signals ignored. Earth had not forgotten, and Earth would not forgive. The final phase began, but it wasn't an invasion. It was erasure. The carriers activated a field, a pulse wave that didn't break buildings or burn cities. It broke memory. Zorak computers shut down. Files deleted, blueprints gone, history wiped clean, weapons turned to dust, power sources melted. Factories collapsed. The Zorak Empire wasn't destroyed. It was unmade. Their language was deleted from galactic databases. Their name removed from every record. It was like they had never existed at all. Then the carriers vanished. No war cry, no monument. No victory speech, just silence. Back on Earth, the sky was peaceful again. Osiris shut down its final defense protocol. Humanity returned to quiet, not because they were weak, but because they had proved their point. They didn't need statues, they didn't need to be worshipped. They only needed one truth to echo across the stars. We were the ones you laughed at, we were the ones you tried to break, and now, we are the ones you will never forget. The galaxy was forever changed, and no one dared touch Earth again.